Deborah and Barak by Richard Gunther. Deborah lived about 1,000 years before Jesus was born, in the land of Israel. At that time there were no Israelite kings ruling over the people of Israel, but Deborah was faithful to the one true God. She was a wise woman, and she loved the Lord with all her heart. Deborah was a judge in Israel. In those days, Israel did not often follow after the ways of God. When they stopped following after the Lord, God would send the nations around to punish Israel. One of the worst of these invaders of Israel was a nation led by bad King Jabin. And Jabin's commander was a man called Sisera. The people of Israel did not want to be ruled over by bad King Jabin. They came to Deborah to ask her for advice. She knew the Lord, so her advice was always the best. Deborah prayed about the problem of King Jabin. God gave her an answer. "Bring me the man called Barak," she ordered. Barak was a good soldier, but he wasn't as full of faith in God as Deborah. He came to see Deborah. "God has a job for you," said Deborah. "What does God want me to do?" asked Barak. "God says," said Deborah, "take 10,000 men and prepare to fight Jabin's commander, Sisera." Barak was afraid. He knew that Sisera had 900 iron war chariots. For 20 long years, no army had been able to defeat Sisera. "I will go," said Barak, "but only if you come with me." Deborah was disappointed. She had hoped Barak would have more faith in God. "Very well," she said, "I will come too, but you won't be the one who gets the praise. A mere woman will kill Sisera for you." Barak didn't know whether to be pleased or disappointed. Barak went up to the land where the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun lived. He called for men, and 10,000 came to him. While Barak was marching towards the battle, another man called Heber, a relative of Moses, had just moved to a suitable place to live for a while. He and his wife Jael had pitched their tent under a terebinth tree. He and Jael did not know how important their choice of where to pitch their tent would be. Meanwhile, Barak and his troops marched towards Sisera. Soon Sisera heard they were coming, so he prepared his chariots and men. The two armies drew closer. Suddenly, Deborah knew what God was about to do. "Up!" she shouted. "The Lord has delivered Sisera to you. The Lord is already ahead of you." Barak charged into battle, and to his amazement, Sisera's army fell easily. Barak found himself chasing the enemy, and his troops kept killing them until the whole enemy army was dead. But Sisera had sneaked away from the battle. He ran as fast as he could until he saw a tent. "Ah!" he thought, "I will hide in there." This was the tent where Heber and Jael lived. Heber was out at the time, but Jael was home, and she saw Sisera coming. She went out to greet him. "Do come in," she called. "You'll be safe here in our tent." Sisera went into the tent. "You look like you need a rest," said Jael. "Here, lie down, and I'll put this nice warm blanket over you." Sisera was tired from the battle, so he gratefully lay down. "I am thirsty," said Sisera. "Could I have some water?" "Certainly," said Jael. "Even better. Have a glass of milk." Sisera gratefully drank the milk and lay his head on the pillow. He felt safe and secure. "Could you stand at the door and keep an eye out for anyone who might be following me?" asked Sisera. "No problem," said Jael. Sisera sighed and closed his eyes. He began to sleep peacefully. Then Jael came quietly over to where he lay. She drove a tent peg right into his head and killed him. How she hated Sisera and all Israel's enemies. Just then Barak and some soldiers came running up to the tent. "Hey!" called Jael. "Come and see the man you were looking for." Barak looked into the tent, and there was Sisera, dead, with a peg in his head. "Well done," said Barak, but he was disappointed because it was a woman who had caught Sisera and not him. From that day on, bad King Jabin left the people of Israel alone. He was afraid of them. And Deborah went back to her palm tree and continued to be a prophetess and a judge over Israel for God. Taken from the book of Judges.